Hey everybody, and welcome back to Gal. In this video, I'm doing another ENVATO template review, and thanks to DP669, an author for ENVATO, for sending me the YouTuber Pack 3.0 to review in this video. Now this pack includes a ton of cool elements that if you create YouTube videos that you'll likely use, such as lower thirds, transitions, logo reveals, and titles. And they're kind of like finishing touches that you can then add to your finished rough cut inside of Premiere Pro or whatever software that you use. Now this pack that I'm reviewing is for Premiere Pro and AfterEffects, but there's also the exact same pack available for Final Cut Pro 10 as well as Apple Motion. So if you use that software, if that's your preferred software, no judgment, you can totally download those versions, and I'll put the link in the description box below. Now before I jump in to show you guys how to use it and some of my favorite templates of the pack, what I recommend doing if you guys are Premiere Pro users is using the AfterEffects files that come with the pack. Now the reason why for this is that the Premiere Pro versions are MOGRTs, which are motion graphics templates. Now I've done a lot about motion graphics templates, but MOGRTs that are designed in AfterEffects for Premiere Pro, when you put them in your Premiere Pro timeline, you'll notice that there's a red line on top, and that means that it needs to be rendered out. Now, when you customize it and then you hit render, you'll notice it takes a really long time. Now, this is not the author's fault of this pack. It's actually an Adobe engineering issue, and hopefully they get it resolved soon, because nobody wants to wait 6 minutes for one title to render. It's just not fun for anybody, and it's a waste of time. The good thing about these packs, though, is that you don't have to worry about creating your own animation or contemporary look from scratch. So that's why I recommend, if you have access to AfterEffects, to use the AfterEffects project files to edit the templates to have your own brand and coloring, because it's just a lot quicker. So that's just the disclaimer that I wanted to tell you guys about. Let's go ahead and jump into AfterEffects, and I'll show you how to use it and customize it to your own brand. Alright, when you first download this pack, it comes as a zip file here, and just double click to unzip that, and then you'll get this folder here. And inside the folder, you will find the project files that you can open up. But before you touch these, I recommend opening up the README text, which has the instructions. And what's really cool about this pack is that the author included a Dropbox file with all of the fonts that you can download. So that way, when you first open up the projects, you don't have to deal with a bunch of errors that say, oh, this font is missing. So be sure to install all of the fonts in your font book before you go ahead and open up the projects for the first time. So shout out to DP669 for including this link. It was very helpful to have that. So then the next thing I wanted to point out is that there are 3 folders here of project files. There's the AfterEffects project files, which I'm going to be using, and then there's the MOGRT files, which are for installing in Premiere Pro's Essential Graphics panel. And there's 2 different versions here. There's the 2018 and the 2019. The new 2019 release now has new font selection capability. Before that, in 2018, when you exported a MOGRT, you were stuck with the fonts of the template. But now with 2019, we can have a font drop down inside of your Premiere Pro Essential Graphics panel. Now, if you need help and you really want to use these MOGRTs inside of Premiere, you can follow a tutorial that I made on how to install multiple MOGRTs at once and then begin using them. I'll put it up here in the right-hand corner so you can click on that and watch that tutorial. But if you're interested in the AfterEffects editing, please stay here, and let's go ahead and open up the CC 2018. There's also a previous version for people that are still using CS 5.5. So let's go ahead and open up this pack, and then it will ask to be converted, and just say okay. And then it will begin to open up all of the different templates inside your project panel. So now that it's open, I'm going to show you how to edit 2 of the templates, one lower third and one end screen. So let's go ahead and open up the lower third that I really like. It is V13, so I'm just going to double click to open up this composition. And this is what it looks like. It's pretty cool. And now we can just update this with our own content and our own colors. So here we can just double click on this word, and I will just type out Premiere. And there we go. It automatically updated the shape to the same size as the text, so we didn't have to update that. Now let's go to the second text holder, and let's double click, and I will just type out gal. And to make this look a little bit better, I'll just add a space there. So now I would like to update this play button to be my logo. So to do that, just double click on place logo here. And this is where we can place our logo. Now here, because of the alpha background, let me just close this folder here. Because of this alpha transparency, you want to make sure to have an alpha version of your logo that's an outline version. So what I did is I made a gal logo inside of my graphics folder that was just an outline. So there's no color in the background. It's just this line and the border here. So let's go ahead and import that. And then I can drag this in my composition on top, and then I'll just need to hit S for the scale, and then I just need to scale it down. And then I can grab a corner and then hit Shift so it stays proportional. And then I can turn off the eye of the social logo. Now, when we go back to lower third, 13, you can see the gal logo is there. The next thing we have to do is just update the colors. So to do that, you go to Controls, and underneath Controls, open up the Effects. So from Effects, you can make changes to the lower third. So if I just scroll down here and we get down to color, this is where we can start to play with color. So for this color one, this is going to change this background color here. So I want to make this like a light purple color, like so. And you'll see it's updated. And I want to do the same thing with the logo color. I'll just take the dropper tool and make that a light purple color. And then secondly, text number 1, this color, I would also want this to be a purple color. And for the color 2, if you wanted to, you can change this from this sort of dark navy gray to something else. But I think this looks pretty good. And one other thing that you can do, which is pretty cool, is up here at the top, there's duration. So you can change the duration of the whole animation. If you would like this to be quicker, you can make this, let's say like 5 instead. So it starts from this moment and then it zooms in until it disappears. So this bar up here is the work area. We can move this to be just after 5 seconds. So that way when we want to export this lower third to be inside of Premiere Pro, it'll just render this 5-second work area. So let's go ahead and export this. Go up to File, Export, and go to Add Render Queue. And because we want to be able to place this on top of footage in Premiere Pro, we want to maintain this alpha transparency layer, which is this. So notice if I toggle off, there's a white background. And if I toggle it on, it's transparent. So we want the transparency here, but there's one other thing we have to do here to ensure that this is transparent. From lossless, we need to change this to RGB plus the alpha and then hit OK. And then you can output this to any destination. We can just call this demo LT for lower third, and then you would hit save, and then you would hit render. But because I want to show you how to edit an end screen, I'm not going to hit render yet because that won't enable me to continue editing. So the end screen that I worked with that you saw in the opening was version 9. So there's a bunch of different end screens that you can choose from and customize. So to get this fit into the screen here, let's go ahead and choose fit from the drop down. And one other thing to note is that the resolution here, you'll notice it's a little fuzzy because it's at a quarter resolution. If I move this to full, you'll notice that it's sharp now, but the playback is pretty slow. So if I went to play this, it would just take a lot longer for this green line to finish. And that's why rendering and working in a quarter resolution, although it looks a little fuzzy, is just overall a faster performance when working with templates like this. So the first step here is really just to customize this to my own brand, which is updating the font and the colors, etc. So this font, I want to change it to a different font. Let's change this to Futura PT, and let's also change this one to Futura PT. And the watch next as well. And this, I want this to be also the bold text. But I want to update this to just say subscribe. And notice how these black lines adapted to the size, which is pretty cool. Now you can go in and add your own handles here. I personally think there's a lot going on here, and because this is a YouTube end screen, which is the last 20 seconds of your video, I'm going to be overlaying things that people can click on anyway. So I'm just going to go ahead and turn these off, so that way they're not even there. And then the next step is to change color and also enable these video placeholders, so you can actually put videos in here to play, although you're likely just going to put a video on top as an end screen annotation. It's still nice to have something playing there. So what I'm going to do is go to controls here, and you'll notice that there's these two parameters. Use YouTube videos, and we want this to be off, and then hide play icon. We want this to be actually off because we don't want this play button to be hidden in this case. Now I can go to video placeholder 1 and open this up, and this is where I can drop in some video. And I downloaded some video here. Let me just drag and drop these two files into AfterEffects, and then I can drag and drop this on top, and then you have a video here. And let's just scale this up. Let's go ahead and just scale this up so it fits that. And then we can do number 2. Let's drag and drop that in there. And let's just scale it up. And you can also put images in these video placeholders. It doesn't have to be a video, so that way you can just have an image there. So now we have our video in these placeholders, and if we wanted to change the background color, we can just go under controls again, and this is where it actually is located underneath gradient 1 and gradient 2. And this is where we can change the first gradient. Let's say we want it to be the classic Premiere Gal colors, like so. And then we can do like a dark kind of purple, like so. And then this text down here, we want to update that. So I believe that is text 4, and we can just change this to be a white color. I think that'll be fine. And one last thing to note here is that a YouTube end screen is just 20 seconds, right? So we don't need to render out this entire minute-long composition because that will take some time. We can just move our playhead to just after 20 seconds and then scrub the playhead over like so. And then we can export it to Premiere to add to our video at the end. Export, add to render queue. And one other thing, this end screen in the opening, there is an alpha channel because it wipes on in the beginning. So because of that, when you're in the render queue, be sure to also hit lossless. And to preserve the alpha channel, just do RGB plus alpha, hit OK. And then you can output it to any folder that is good for you, and then just hit render. And then it will start to render out the lower third first because that's what we prepped before, and it will render both of them in the order that we decided to export them. So that's all there is to editing these templates inside of the YouTuber Pack 3.0. Once again, shout out to DP669 for sending it to me to review on this channel. And one thing I want to stress is if you guys get this now, you can always get continuous updates over time when you purchase through ENVATO. So if there's an update later on this year that fixes a few issues or adds more templates to it, you can get that for free. So that's all for this video. Whatever you guys want to learn next, let me know in the comment below and I'll be sure to take a look, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!